Crazy Crab in the house. And today, just doing a little bit of research and reading some things. I've been out the loop for a few days. I apologize. Didn't feel good. I was feeling dizzy. I was feeling faint like every day. I was seeing like a little black spot. I thought I was gonna die, dude. So I went to the doctor. Doctor's like, no, 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 you're fine. Just go home and take some pills and put a damp towel on your head. You'll be just fine. I was like, I don't know, man. It's been, instinctually, I just feel like I feel pretty bad. I think we need to get checked further. He's like, no, just go rest. Just take these pills and you'll be fine. And I said, no, I think we need to get a CAT scan done or something and check, make sure I don't have brain cancer. He's like, oh, no, no, no. Trust me, you don't have brain cancer. Go home and rest. And I said, no, I really want to get the scan done. So he's finally like, okay, we'll get the scan done. Um, but it's going to cost about $1,200. And I said, no, you know what? I think I'm fine. If I just go home and rest and just put a little towel on my head and take some pills, I'll be just fine. So I'm pretty sure it's nothing. And he's like, yeah. So anyway, I did that. I went home, got some rest, put a towel on my head, and I'm feeling better now. And just doing a little browsing here. And George Lucas's idea for Star Wars 7 through 9 is worse than you can imagine. I just started it on this article. I already read this, and I want to show you where it took me. And I'm getting really tired of dealing with this stuff. And this is going to be, I don't know how much longer I can do it. I don't know how much longer I can do it. But anyway, this article, in kind of a roundabout way, is defending Disney and saying Disney's the bomb and everything they're doing is awesome. And if George Lucas would have had it, it would have been even worse. And I'll admit right up front that, yeah, if George Lucas had just like full control over 7 through 9, like he did with the prequels, yeah, there's no doubt about it that they wouldn't have been that great. I mean, I'm pretty sure they would have been pretty disappointing, but we would have been prepared for it. We'd have been like, okay, we're probably going to get some prequel type stuff, and the CGI is going to be better at least, and hopefully, they're okay, and at least they'll have a coherent storyline, and it just talks about how Lucas bought or excuse me, Lucas sold Star Wars for 4.05 billion. Fans weren't too thrilled that Disney had it, but it's saying that that's a small price to pay to stop Lucas from what he planned on doing next, the horrible things that he planned on. While he's only hinted so far about how he would have handled the next trilogy of films, some of his plans appear to have been revealed in a companion book to James Cameron's story of science fiction series on AMC. So this shows a couple of quotes. The next three Star Wars films, we're going to get into the microbiotic world, but there's this world of creatures that operate differently than we do. I call them wills, and the wills are the ones who actually control the universe. They feed off the Force. If I'd held on to the company, I would have done it, or I could have done it, and then it would have been done. Of course, a lot of fans would have hated it, just like they did Phantom Menace and everything, but at least the whole story would have been told beginning to end. He must be referring to whatever the midichlorians are, the stupid technobabble Qui-Gon Jinn used to explain the Force in the Phantom Menace. But really, Lucas's plot sounds like a mix between an episode of the Magic School Bus and Osmosis Jones. You have to admit it's pretty funny. He could have done something he knew fans would have hated. Who can blame him? And here we go. Star Wars fans suck. And I'm like, oh gosh, with the link. I'm like, what do first of all, that is an all-encompassing statement. Very insulting statement. Star Wars fans suck. Who is he referring to? He's referring to myself. He's referring to Jeremy. He's referring to all of us. So let's click on this link. And it takes us to Star Wars fans fundamentally misunderstand Star Wars. This franchise was founded on progressive values, but recent controversy surrounding Kelly Marie Tran proves vocal fans think otherwise. Okay, who are these vocal fans? Star Wars, a forward-thinking franchise that's iconic for its diverse, colorful vision of the galaxy, has always been orbited by an asteroid field of obsessive fans with strong opinions. But with the reboot has come a new, more dangerous type of Star Wars fan. Who are you talking about? Let's find out. Kelly Marie Tran, who portrayed the scrappy resistance hero Rose Tico in The Last Jedi, silently left Instagram this week following a shameful harassment campaign mounted against her by whiny neckbeards from the very vocal minority of Star Wars fans who do not agree with progressive ideals set forward in the refreshingly inclusive, emotionally nuanced film. Now, obviously, it's not only a minority, a teeny beeny meeny meeny teeny minority are the people who are vocally harassing Kelly Marie Tran. Who are these people? It has to be almost nobody. But the problem is that they insinuate that it's us. They insinuated that it's the large portion of Star Wars fans who are pissed off about the direction of the new films. Okay, but that's who they're trying to call whiny neckbeards, as we'll see when we continue. Since the earliest promos of The Force Awakens, members of this testosterone-fueled community have flooded the internet with their regressive criticisms that Star Wars seems to no longer be a white male-led franchise. Who's doing this? Who's doing this? Who's doing this? Okay, a lot of people are angry about the new movies and criticize their politically filled agenda that they're shoving in the movies. But how many of those people are mad because it's not white male led? That's the problem, that they're trying to combine them. They're trying to say everyone who's mad about the SJW thing also thinks it needs to be a white male led franchise. And that's just complete crap. And that's pissing me off. In spite of virtually every new movie in the new Disney iteration of the series being headlined by white actors, with white men dotting out almost every frame of the films, many fans feel there's a social justice warrior or liberal conspiracy within the new Star Wars films. So you're saying there's not a social justice warrior or liberal conspiracy within the new Star Wars films? You're saying there's not. This person writing this thinks there's not? And it's no surprise that this level of unrest has come about only when Kathleen Kennedy, a woman, has stepped into the new president of Lucasfilm. And you get tired of fighting with people like this, you know? I mean, I'm getting tired of it. It's like fighting with your dog or cat over something. There's no logic here. There's no common sense here. They don't want to talk truth. They don't want to talk what's the real problem is, what we really don't like about these new films, and talk truth about what's really going on with these new films, the obvious things that are going on, the obvious things that we're not happy about. They just have to go and call us a bunch of white chauvinist pigs who are racist and sexist. And it's amazing. It's amazing. It's sick. And it's just, what's the point? What's the point of getting mad and fighting with them anymore? These fans were especially, as they would say, triggered by trans character in The Last Jedi. And here you go. Namely because she is A, an Asian American of Vietnamese descent, B, a woman, C, not the Hollywood female type. Where's D, horrible character, which is the only one that needs to be there? Okay? It's really insane. That's what this person is doing, is saying that we're angry about these three things when nobody is. The very few, less than 1% of fans, less than 1% of angry fans. I mean, a tiny, tiny, tiny fraction of fans are actually mad about any of these three things. Nobody cares that she's Asian. Nobody cares that she's a woman. Oh God, how could you cast a woman? Who's saying this? And see, not Hollywood female body type. Nobody. Oh my gosh, look at her. She's not perfectly shaped body. She's not hot enough for a Star Wars. I mean, I don't even need to get sarcastic. It's an absolute joke. This guy is an absolute joke. Following a barrage of extremely sexist, racist, and downright disgusting discourse unleashed across all major social media platforms, the trash compactor of bullshit that swallowed up Kelly Marie Tran is yet another example of the rising current of hatred and discrimination in our culture, and a lightsaber bright indicator that many Star Wars fans simply no longer understand Star Wars. Well, I'm happy to say I'm not one of these fans, because I didn't mind that she's Asian. I don't mind that she's a woman. I don't mind her body type, whatever it may be. I didn't say anything to her. I would never insult her. I would never say anything bad to this lady who did the best she could with what she had to work with. So I guess I'm not one of these, right? So we're good. Perhaps inspired by the internet-born movement like the alt-right, the man babies, as Last Jedi director Rian Johnson has called them, have gathered on subreddits and social media forums on every dark corner of the web to organize and let their silenced voice scream across the internet like a raging TIE fighter on the brink of destruction. The abuse raised from tiresome petitions on change.org to blatant discrimination, such as on Star Wars Wikipedia entry page for trans character, which Huffington Post reported has been revised in 2017 to read, Ching Chong Wing Tong is a dumbass. You know, some moron wrote this. This is what I'm talking about. They wrote that on Wikipedia. And this author wants to write this out and act like this is how we all think. We all think this way. Some piece of shit racist wrote this, or some SJW wrote this to make it look like we wrote it. One or the other, but either way, some piece of shit wrote this. And now this writer wants to make it look like we all think this way. Like we all think this way. When Kathleen Kennedy took over Star Wars back in 2012, she successfully revitalized an irrelevant franchise. Excuse me. Oh, wow. Oh, my God. Ladies and gents, She successfully revitalized an irrelevant franchise. Okay, you could have given this Star Wars franchise to freaking Saddam Hussein if he was still alive. And he could have put the new Star Wars movie out and it would have made billions. It's Star Wars. It was never irrelevant. Never has Star Wars been an irrelevant franchise. Star Wars at its most irrelevant point is today. Not before they made The Force Awakens. It's today. Irrelevant? Y'all can't even make money on your newest movie. That's irrelevant. It's irrelevant because of Lucasfilm, Kathleen Kennedy, Rian Johnson. That's why it's irrelevant. It's irrelevant now, not in 2012 when they bought it. It was not irrelevant in 2012. We couldn't wait for a new Star Wars movie. Breathing new life into a series that had long been deemed obsolete never was obsolete after the problematic failures of the... Yeah, now these are massive failures. Yes, I didn't love the prequels, okay, but they were financially successful. Star Wars never died. Some people, yes, got pissed off, I'm sure, and said, I'm not watching anymore, but it brought in a whole new generation of fans who loved the prequels. They loved the prequels. So stop lying, okay? Her new vision for the franchise, which by no means is revolutionary, at least brought the blockbuster films into the modern age, pulling the reins away from tired, masculinity-obsessed circuses of violence like Transformers or Clash of the Titans, and ushering in a refreshing sense of uplifting, inclusive values to the big screen. I'm all for inclusiveness. Let me ask some people something. This, not everyone liked Rogue One, and just because you didn't like Rogue One doesn't mean anything. But why would I or a lot of fans who are pissed off right now like Rogue One? Because it was extremely inclusive. It was extremely diverse. It had characters, almost every character was a different nationality. And the lead character was a woman in Jen Erso. So, I mean, if you didn't like Rogue One, that means nothing. That doesn't mean you're racist by no means, because there's lots of problems with Rogue One. I mean, people have that. People don't like it. People didn't love it. But I personally really loved that movie. So what's the problem? What's the problem? Why would I, if I'm a racist and a sexist and I can't stand female characters in the lead role and I can't stand inclusiveness and I can't stand diversity and I can't stand Asians, which there was an Asian character, then what's the problem? Why did I like Rogue One? Did I just become racist in the years after Rogue One? Suddenly I became a racist, sexist freak? Maybe there's other problems with The Last Jedi besides their inclusiveness. Maybe that's not a problem. Maybe the woman lead character, maybe that's not a problem. In fact, those aren't the problems with the movie. The movie has got other problems that we've talked about and that these people do not want to face. Despite The Force Awakens' unprecedented success at the box office, that was the most horribly read sentence in the history of mankind. But despite The Force Awakens' unprecedented success at the box office, a positively stunning film hailed by audiences and critics alike, the man babies felt forgotten. Longtime Star Wars fans who may have seen themselves in the negative, anarchic recklessness of Luke Skywalker or the smug, dickhead antics of Han Solo felt the new franchise alienated white men from their new mission statement. Unbelievable. And thus they sounded off on every outlet available, saying the new films have a racial agenda. I never heard this phrase. We say political agenda. I've heard that phrase. Honestly, I mean, yeah, we do notice that all the white males are villains, but let's just get it to the bottom line of it. I don't want to look too deep into the racial thing because being diverse in your cast is nothing wrong. This is Star Wars. It's always been diverse. It should be diverse. That's a wonderful thing. And I think very few people have a problem with that. Yeah, this guy suspended account Dark Enlightened, tweeting messages such as the new Star Wars movie barely has white males in it. It's all muds. Yeah, I mean, just because there's less, I mean, when they say it's a small minority, it is less than 1%. One out of every freaking million fans is psychotic like that. But they're trying to make it out like it's us. Because anytime there's millions of fans of anything, there's always going to be, anytime there's millions of anything, there's going to be a small portion that are morons, that are idiots, that say stupid things. It's never a problem because we always expect that. But now for this one, it's a problem because there's a larger percentage that are pissed off about the movies, not for these reasons, but they want to twist it so that everyone who doesn't like The Last Jedi and is pissed off and wants Kathleen Kennedy gone, and all of us who are not going to see the new movies and are pissed off, We are all racist, sexist pieces of crap. It may seem surprising that a cartoonish space franchise like Star Wars could get so absorbed in the tractor beam of our ever agitated socio-political divide, but in a time when the term social justice warrior is considered an insulting thing to call a progressive-minded person, it's only natural that a series founded on the principle of forward-minded thinking could fall victim to regressive neckbeards. That's what they're calling us. That's what he's calling us. He's calling me that, because we complain about the social justice warrior stuff in these movies that's just absolutely clear as day. It brings this plot to a screeching halt, and it goes on to show us saving animals. It goes on to show child slavery. We see clearly the women dominate the men in the new movies. The men are made out to be fools. They're made out to be morons. They're made out to be jokes. The women are very, very powerful and strong and supposedly perfect in almost every way. The divide is not equal. Equal is equal. Equal rights means equal rights. When they gave women the right to vote, they didn't take it away from men. They didn't say, okay, now women can vote, men, you guys can't vote now. What is that? So that two wrongs make a right? Oh, since you guys haven't let women vote for all these years, you guys now can't vote for several years. And then after 100 more or so years of y'all not voting, then we'll give equal voting rights. No, that's not how things should be done. Things should be done like what's right is right, what's wrong is wrong. Women should vote. So women, you can now vote, and now things are right. They didn't say, okay, black people being slaves is absolutely horrific. We are going to abolish slavery. And now all black people, you can take the white people and you will hold them as slaves for the next 200 years. So that way, no. How stupid would it, how horrible that would have been? I mean, yeah, Ryan Johnson would be a slave today. So, maybe it wouldn't have been so bad. So anyway, don't need to read the whole thing. Y'all can read it. I'll put a link to it. But it's just a bunch of crap. It's just going to continue to piss me off. So, again, I mean, if you can make a decent movie. The Last Jedi was a horrible movie. It was a bad movie. It was a very bad movie. It is all over the place, and it's poorly done. And that's all we're saying. And a big reason is because of Kathleen Kennedy pushing her politics, not knowing who to hire. She hired Ryan Johnson. He did a horrible job with the movie. There's been massive problems in almost every movie in the production. They're firing. It's horrible, guys. And this is just ignored by almost everyone except for a few writers who actually want to tell the truth. This guy, Dom Nero, I don't even want to say anything bad. It's just a child. He's just a child. He can't think deep, or he's just writing this to kiss up. I don't know what his motivation is, but it's an absolute joke. What do they call us again? Regressive neckbeards. Okay, whoever wrote this article, call this beautiful girl a regressive neckbeard. Call this great human being a regressive neckbeard. Okay, go up to this beautiful woman and call her a regressive neckbeard. Okay, why don't you call this man a regressive neckbeard? Because these are all people who are pissed off about the direction of Star Wars and are pissed off at Kathleen Kennedy and hate The Last Jedi. Have a good day, guys. See you later.